Hello and thanks for joining us for the Midday News. An advanced team from the Vatican City are in the country to discuss the proposed date and arrangements for the papal visit later this year. The team met with the Prime Minister James Marape yesterday. Marape expressed appreciation that the Pope is visiting PNG and said his government is ready to welcome him and make his visit a success. Preliminary discussions were also held with the Foreign Affairs Minister, Justin Kichanko, to map out a plan for the visit. No dates have been confirmed yet, but will be done after a second visit by the team in June. Minister Kichanko says the papal visit is a state visit and will be guided by strict Vatican protocols and security arrangement, taking into consideration the Pope's advanced age at 87. It will be the Pontiff's first visit to the country and the Oceania region. While Australians grapple with a cost of living crisis, many young Japanese citizens are finding that moving down under is a financial boon. Plagued with low wages and economic hardships, Japan is now officially in recession. So Japanese workers are flocking to Australia in record numbers.
Good day, mate. Shonaru desu.
Armed with a small camera, Shoma Tanaka talks candidly to his social media followers about his earnings, expenses and, most importantly, savings.
It is definitely easier to work in Australia. The hours are less than in Japan and the pay is higher in my case, so it's much easier mentally.
Since arriving in 2019, he's worked a variety of jobs. Currently, he's at a metalworks factory, earning twice what he would back home. On his YouTube channel, Shoma explains how the higher income, combined with a bit of frugality, has helped him save $200,000 and buy his dad a new car.
If there are people who are working and feeling a bit frustrated in Japan, I'd like to let them know that there is a path to choose, a working holiday, and there are possibilities for them.
Japan has slipped into recession as the country battles a weak yen and an ageing, shrinking population.
I feel the cost of food is going up, and I'm shocked how much the power and gas bills cost lately.
I'd like to give more and more back to my employees. However, in reality, while the cost of goods and expenses are rising, it's impossible.
The number of Japanese applying to work in Australia has hit record levels as people seek sanctuary from low, stagnant wages.
There is a very strong incentive for Japanese people to, work outside for a certain period and earn money and then come back.
It's not all bad news. Major Japanese firms are posting record profits and the stock market is back to all-time highs. What many workers here want to know is when this good news will flow through to their wallets.
I'm worried about my life. From my point of view, Japan is declining.
Those economic headwinds may take a long time to subside.
The One Pacific are this week reviewing the outcomes of the world's largest climate change negotiations platform and preparing for the next steps on the 2024 journey to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change Negotiations. This week, the Pacific Small Island Developing States Post-COP28 Analysis Workshop is underway, led by the Secretariat of the Pacific Regional Environment Program in collaboration with members of the Council of Regional Organizations of the Pacific and Climate Analytics. The workshop brought together Pacific negotiators to assess outcomes, address challenges, and capitalize on successes and limitations from Dubai. It is the first in a series of preparatory sessions and training programs that will be carried out during 2024 to prepare Pacific Small Island Developing States for COP29. The virtual post-COP28 analysis workshop was attended by Cook Islands, Fiji, Niue, Papua New Guinea, Palau, Samoa, Solomon Islands, Tuvalu and Vanuatu. Firefighters are being praised for their quick action in saving more than 100 homes from a fast-moving fire. While Victoria escaped the catastrophic fire conditions relatively unscathed, a grass fire that sprung up at Derreel forced many locals to leave their home. But with dozens of fire trucks and aircrafts on standby near Ballarat, help was soon on hand, and fire was brought under control without a single house being lost.
The ferocity and speed of the fire at Derreel was immediately apparent to firefighters.
It was moving so fast, the fire went from spot fires in the ground to crowning in the treetops within minutes.
As teams fought it from above and below, residents of the small town fled.
We just thought there was no defending where we are, and we had to go.
When Damien Maloney returned after midnight, he couldn't believe his eyes.
The fire has literally skipped our houses. It is something else.
This scrubby bushland around Derreel has a terrible reputation among firefighters, so there was a lot of concern when this blaze took off last night. 60 tankers and a dozen aircraft were quickly deployed, and crews were able to bring it under control within hours.
You know, if you could hug every single one of them without making anyone uncomfortable, you probably would.
Authorities say the actions of firefighters, including trucks from the New South Wales Fire Service, saved 117 homes from being burnt.
So what caused the tears? One of the ladies came up and said, "You saved my mum's house?" Yeah. That'll do.
Today, crews were out mopping up and marking dangerous trees. The cause of the fire is still being investigated, but there's speculation it could have been a faulty electric fence. The weather that whipped up the blaze here also kept crews busy at the existing Bayandine fire ground near Beaufort. Half a dozen small fires flared up as the winds peaked, but all were quickly extinguished with the help of aerial bombers.
They do a good job. They do the work of probably half a dozen trucks in one hit. That's good, helps us get right on top of it from the word go.
Allowing a sense of calm to return to the streets of Beaufort for the first time in days.
In sports, Queensland Rugby League boss Ben Ikin has confirmed the PNG Hunters will host Queensland Cup games in a massive boost to the code and NRL after recent civil unrest. The Queensland Rugby League has announced it will host games of its statewide competition in Papua New Guinea in a huge boost to the code and the NRL's expansion plans. QRL CEO Ben Ikin told AAP on Thursday that they are hosting games in PNG because it is safe enough to do it. Ikin said Wynnum will travel up for round one of the Host Plus Cup. He is travelling as well. QRL has partnered with the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade and the Australian government to work with the PNG, RFL and the PNG Hunters to develop rugby league in PNG. For the first time ever, the NRL Telstra Premiership season will kick off in the United States of America. The 2024 season opened in double-header on Saturday, the 2nd of March 2024 local time at the world's greatest arena, Allegiant Stadium, with the Sea Eagles taking on the Rabbitohs and the Roosters going head-to-head with the Broncos. It is history in the making. NRL CEO Andrew Abdo expressed his excitement about taking Australian Rugby League to a new frontier. The capacity of the stadium is typically 65,000. It is the home of the NFL's Las Vegas Raiders. And that ends Midday News. More to come at 6. Bye now.